Elgin-Middlesex-London is a massive riding, encompassing close to 2,500 square kilometers. It takes in towns like West Lorne, St. Thomas, and the municipality of Bayham. It also reaches into South London and north into Thames Centre. Close to 115,000 people live in the riding that stretches along the Lake Erie shoreline. 80,000 residents are eligible to vote. Jobs will be a major issue in the upcoming election, following a collapse in the manufacturing sector that saw the closure of the Ford plant and other major factories in St. Thomas. This has led to an unemployment rate which has fluctuated slightly but remained higher than the national average. Agriculture remains the strongest industry in the riding. The riding has been a Conservative stronghold since 2004 when Joe Preston was elected MP. However, Preston is not seeking re-election this term, which leaves the riding wide open. Rogers TV, the local focus on the federal election.
Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Rogers TV St. Thomas and District Chamber of Commerce co-production of the Elgin-Middlesex-London All Candidates meeting. This program is being recorded on Friday, September 11th. The candidates that you are going to meet today are all of the candidates that were officially registered with Elections Canada as of today. Our order of the program is fairly straightforward and simple. Each one of the candidates gets an opening remark that will last up to 60 seconds, closing remarks at the end of the show, and in between those opening and closing remarks, we have a panel of media representatives that will be offering up questions to the candidates. So, let's move on. Over the next 60 minutes, I was almost going to say 60 seconds, which is way too short. Over the next 60 minutes, we will hope to give you a chance to do something that may otherwise not be possible for a lot of people. And simply, that means to get to know some of the folks that you may not already know and to share some information that otherwise may not have been able for you to easily attract or to get. Our order of speaking for the candidates in opening and closing remarks has been determined in advance of the show by a random draw. Representing the Liberal Party of Canada, I'll invite Lori Baldwin-Sands as our first presenter to the candidate's microphone. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you very much. I am Lori Baldwin-Sands, your federal Liberal Team Trudeau candidate. Thank you to the organizers and to the panel for today's event. I am a resident of the City of St. Thomas, married to Doug Sands, and mother to Catherine, Amy, and Meg Sloan. As a St. Thomas small business owner and operator for over 35 years and a city councillor for 8 years, I have learned to listen. Over the past 12 months, I have had thousands of conversations with residents of this riding to discuss their concerns. It is this experience and those conversations that I hope to take to Ottawa to be your voice. I understand that residents of Elgin-Middlesex-London feel that 4 more years of the same is not good enough. Today, I hope to talk about jobs, infrastructure investments, and a plan for real change. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lori Baldwin-Sands representing the Liberal Party and precisely presented in 50 seconds. We'll move on to candidate number 2 in this speaking order. Representing the New Democratic Party, please welcome Fred Sinclair.
I would like to thank everybody for letting me do this and standing up here and be able to present to you my plan for Elgin-Middlesex-London riding. I am a lifetime resident of St. Thomas. I went to school here, both in the Catholic education system as well as the public. And beyond that, I've been seeing what's been going on. I came out of manufacturing. I've seen the devastation. I've been there. I've lived it. Beyond that, I've seen how businesses have come and gone drastically in the St. Thomas downtown. I am here to show and to tell you that I will fight until I can fight no more, and then fight some more in order to get the jobs, the businesses, and the farming community back on track. 4 more years of any Stephen Harper or Trudeau governments will not do well for us. It's going to end in disaster. Remember October 19th, Fred Sinclair, NDP. Thank you.
60 seconds precisely. Thank you, Fred. Speaker number 3, representing the Green Party of Canada, please welcome Bronagh Morgan. Bronagh?
Hi, thank you very much for having me today. I'm nervous. This is my first debate in 11 years, when the last time I ran was in London North Centre 11 years ago. So just to catch you up on what I've been up to, the biggest thing, I guess, over the last 11 years I've been up to is I've become a parent, which is fantastic, my favorite job. But I guess my question for people watching today is, what have you been up to in the last 11 years? I know the last time that I ran in an election, we had a big problem with voter apathy and people feeling disillusioned with their elected officials and their system of government. And now it's 11 years later, and we have politics pretty much being done the exact same way by a lot of the same people in Ottawa. 11 years ago, we knew that climate change caused by people was a problem that we need to address. And here it is 11 years later, and Canada is falling behind the rest of the world on this issue. 11 years ago, we needed the Green Party. Let's not wait any longer. Send me to Ottawa.
Thank you, Bronagh Morgan, representing the Green Party of Canada. Our next presenter is representing the Conservative Party of Canada. It's Karen Vecchio. Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Vecchio, your Conservative candidate. This election is about the economy and our country's security. Our Conservative government has guided Canada through the worst global recession since the 1930s. We have cut taxes for families, seniors, and small businesses. We've balanced the budget by eliminating wasteful spending, but without cutting transfers to provinces and to persons. Canada has one of the strongest job creation rates in the G7. We have delivered assistance to employers and provided security to all Canadians. Our Prime Minister is the proven leader for this country. Our Prime Minister has led Canada back to a balanced budget while putting money back into the families with children and back to the families with children. We have made the largest increase to the guaranteed income supplement ever for parents like my mom and dad, while still balancing the budget. As a mother and daughter, this matters. I am part of the Stephen Harper team. I have lived here and I have worked here to make our community better. I ask for your vote.
And Karen went 2 seconds over. 5 seconds is when we turn the microphones off. Our final presenter in the candidate group of 5 for the program today represents the Christian Heritage Party, and please welcome Michael Hopkins. Michael?
My name is Michael Hopkins, and I come from the Christian Heritage Party. Our policies are unique when comparing them to the other political parties. We are the only party that will bring sustainability to the economy while displaying compassion and for the less fortunate and disadvantaged. We are the only party that will strengthen families and protect life at all stages. We are the only party that will protect law-abiding citizens by toughening our laws against violent offenders without partiality or special protections for any individual group or people. We are the only party that will improve our envied healthcare system by cutting wait times and improving its patient care. Finally, we are the only party that will display good stewardship towards our environment and natural resources without destroying jobs or creating debilitating taxation. The Christian Heritage Party will bring back what was meant when our forefathers wrote peace, order, and good government. Thank you.
Michael Hopkins representing the Christian Heritage Party. It's time now to continue our format and move to the agenda item that is the bulk of our presentation for today's show. That's the opportunity for local media representatives to field questions to any or all of the candidates. They have their option. If they wish to direct a specific question to a specific candidate, they may certainly do so, or to direct their candidate questions to all of the candidates to ensure fairness in the order of response. When the question is asked, I will pick one candidate randomly to start the question and then subsequently follow, so we don't get stuck in a rut of someone always following the same person. Our 2 media panelists that are with us today, representing myFM Radio 94.1 in St. Thomas, their news director is Andrew Buttigieg. Andrew is joining us again. He's a veteran of having done this program with us in the past. We'd also like to welcome Jennifer Beeman from the St. Thomas Times-Journal. Jennifer is a reporter with the newspaper, and we welcome her to our program. It's really going to be up to you folks to throw some challenging questions out there. So I'll give each media rep the opportunity to present 2 questions and then take a seat. So Andrew, luck of the draw, B for Buttigieg. I think that you won the alphabetical order. It's up to you to go
BI,
number 1.
though. Is it BI? BI.
Okay, I
She
can't
should
spell.
win. Thank you very much, and congratulations on running in this campaign. It takes a lot of guts to do that, so I congratulate you all, and good luck, and we look forward to the next, it's a long campaign, so look forward to the next month or so for sure. I do have a few questions, and I do want to focus local, because I think that's important. Obviously, we all know that you go to Ottawa, and you're our voice for local riding. So my first question is, and I don't know if maybe, hopefully you're not prepared for this question, that's my goal. If you happen to win this election in our local riding, but your party does not become the majority government, or even the minority government for that matter, if you are an opposition party, how do you still plan to be our voice in Ottawa?
First response, we'll start in the reverse order of how we did the opening remarks. I'll go to Michael Hopkins.
I believe we have to work with the party in power, work in a way that gets things accomplished for this electoral district.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have the fighting that always seems to come around whenever there's Parliament in session. They're always fighting each other rather than working together. That's something that I hope to change when I'm in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next response to Karen Vecchio.
Thanks very much for your question, Andrew. Truly, it is always about working together, and it's working with all levels of government, whether they are in power, whether it is a minority, majority government. It is all about working together. I'm just going to point out a local politician here, our member of provincial parliament, Jeff Urich, who has done a wonderful job recognizing the needs of this community and making sure that he can continue to bring that to the opposition party, or to the parties that are currently leading the government. It is about working together, and it's about communicating the needs of your local riding, and that is the people here in Elgin-Middlesex-London. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bronagh Morgan, please.
Hi again.
Hi.
On the off chance that the Green Party doesn't form the government, well, first of all, I don't think you've ever sent a politician to Ottawa from this riding that's anything like me. So, like right off the bat, I think that you're going to have a voice in Ottawa that you've never had before if you want to send a Green Party candidate to Ottawa. I think you're going to put yourselves on the map. In terms of what the way I would learn what I need to put forth on behalf of the residents of the riding, I don't run my campaign just based on what I do. I run it based on what my team thinks is best for the way the campaign is run, and that's the way I would do it. I'd be talking to people in the riding, like I've got a strong campaign team right now, but as well as, anybody that I can meet that has a great idea, I want them to be able to talk to me. We're not the party of red tape. Like if you call me, you're going to be talking to me. You're not going to be talking to somebody else. So I want to always be engaged with people, and if that's what you want me to say, that voice is going to get heard. That's just that simple. I do get nervous, but I'm really not that shy. So your voice is going to be heard in Ottawa if you decide to send me.
Thank you.
Fred Sinclair, please.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
That's a great question. If my party doesn't get either or, and I am elected, I will have that strong voice. I am not afraid to step up in a party and tell them this is what my constituents want. I will have that strong voice. I'm not going to back down from a fight, no matter if it's with the opposition or with another party in there. We have to work together. In order to make Canada a viable country, it's about working together. Mm-hmm. So yes, I still will have that large voice, the demand to go out there and do it. But without the fire from the constituents to go in and have that evidence or have that behind me and have the constituents behind me, you don't have that voice. You need the constituents. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last response on this one to Lori Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you for the question, Andrew. I will be Elgin-Middlesex-London's voice in Ottawa, not Ottawa's voice in Elgin-Middlesex-London. Liberals traditionally have worked very, very well with all of the other major parties. I make reference to Tommy Douglas, who brought forward national health care, but it was the Liberal government that put it forward. I spent 8 years on City Council with many people of different political stripes, many boards, many committees, and we had to come together to create consensus in order to move our agendas forward together. And that is what I will continue to do as your voice in Ottawa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andrew, the podium
One
is
more?
yours again.
Perfect. We're here at the EBRC doing the taping today. This sort of place is filled with people, or obviously the EBRC or the chamber. Maybe the chamber is supported by government as well sometimes as well. Are they not?
We raise all of our own money. We don't accept
there you
handouts
go.
from
I don't need to
government.
mention that. The EBRC for sure is one place that is supported by grants, and grants are a big deal. Now, in my time covering councils, Central Elgin or City or whatever it is, a lot of frustration is voiced regarding how can it be made easier to apply for grants and for councils to be able to pre-plan their budgets when it comes that time, at budgeting time. Now, I know this is an issue on both sides, provincially and federally, so I would like the response to that question.
I'll start with Karen Vecchio on this one.
You know, Andrew, thank you very much for that question. I have 11 years of government experience by working in the Member of Parliament's office with Joe Preston. One of my biggest roles was personal outreach. We have seen many, many organizations and community in the municipalities come to our door and say, what do you have available? This is what we're looking for. And my job is connecting the programs to the municipalities, to the constituents, and we have been extremely successful with that. It's extremely important to have a very strong Member of Parliament and staff that can work to create a greater or better community, and that is something that I've done very well at. Here we're standing in a building where the Innovation Centre for Entrepreneurs exists. This was done through the Community Adjustment Fund that I was very proud of, that we worked very strongly with all of the staff here so that we could build greater opportunities. And it was 3 levels of funding that came through, with the provincial government helping out as well as the municipalities. So we can all work together, and it's the most important thing is communication, and that is something I'm extremely successful at. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Baldwin-Sands, please.
Thank you so very much for the question. I believe one of the extremely critical things that we can do as a federal government is to provide a steady stream of funding to municipalities. That's why I was overjoyed to hear the announcement about Canada's most historic commitment to infrastructure investment, and that will start immediately after the federal election when the Liberals take power. That is a steady stream of funding, just like in 2004, the federal Liberal Party at that time instituted the gas tax funding. That created a steady stream of funding to municipalities in order to create immediate projects that can help not only improve quality of life, but create jobs here in our communities. And that is the best stimulus I know of that will help get small businesses back to work and help create a better quality of life and a better economy for all of us here in Elgin-Middlesex-London. Thank you.
Bronagh Morgan, please.
I'm still contemplating, so I was hoping I was going last on this one. I know that one of our important, we base all of our policies in the Green Party on these key values. And I know one of the important values is grassroots democracy. So basically what that means is it's not top-down government. It's government, the least amount of bureaucracy, the least power at the top. We're not concentrating power at the top. We're trying to spread it out. So the ideas don't have to come from the top and work their way down. And same with the money. We want people regardless of the level of government, or the municipal level, wherever you are, a not-for-profit group, we want you to feel empowered. So obviously, what I said before, is you'll be calling me directly. There's going to be less red tape in order to get the money to the people that need the money. But it's also about putting, political power in the hands of people at different levels. It's not necessarily come ask me for something. It's about how can you go out and do this for yourself. That's a Green Party idea that I think it's really attractive to me. I love that idea. So I hope that answers the question, because I was a little confused.
Yes, thank you.
Michael Hopkins, please.
Thank you for the question. The answer to your question would be to hire the skilled staff needed to communicate where these programs exist and how they can help. We need to cut all the red tape and streamline the process. CHP would also like to introduce an infrastructure program. This is where the Bank of Canada is ordered to make interest-free loans to municipalities and provinces to build infrastructure. Also, what the CHP will do is cut all income taxes and replace it with a consumer tax. This will help businesses with their bottom line.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And the last word goes to Fred Sinclair this time.
Thank you. Great question again. If the NDP comes in power, when we do, October 19th, and I am the representative for Elgin-Middlesex-London as the MP, we will be looking at getting rid of the red tape and all the hoops everybody's got to jump through that the Conservatives and Liberals have put in place since '93 with the Chrétien and the Paul Martin governments as well as Harper's government. They've done nothing but take, and cut. It's time to start reinvesting back into that aspect of the game and get it going again so it's easier for municipalities, youth, new business startups, and get it all moving again. Once we're able to get that going, the economy will start rising up, people will be out there spending, jobs will be coming back, and it'll be a great process. It's just a matter of having that voice, my voice in Ottawa, to help get that red tape and those loopholes. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Andrew. And now it's our turn to welcome Jennifer Beeman from the St. Thomas Times-Journal to the podium. And Jennifer has a couple of questions. It's probably more than that for the program. Jennifer, welcome.
All right. Hello, everybody. We'll start with a fairly easy and straightforward question I'm pretty sure all of you knew was coming. It has to do with jobs, job losses, and manufacturing. Southwestern Ontario, including St. Thomas, has been one of the hardest hit regions in Canada for manufacturing job losses. The tools that the federal government can use to foster employment opportunities are endless, highly nuanced. Everything from skills development training, partnerships, subsidies, incentives. Specifically, more on a broad philosophical level, I'd like to know what you think the federal government's role is when it comes to job creation strategies.
I'll go to Fred Sinclair first up this time.
I got know the roles of, sorry, can you repeat your last sentence?
What is the federal government's role when it comes to job creation?
Okay, that's what I thought you said. It just was got to go. My thoughts is they should be hand in hand with manufacturers, with businesses. If you're sitting down with these companies and corporations, finding out exactly what they're going to need to get businesses going, to be able to bring jobs in, to open more plants, to get the economy rolling. It's about working with them, either looking at incentives, giving them grants that are with some strings attached that they can't pull out of a country or the city without making sure they pay back monies, unlike Navistar and Chatham, where they got hit for big time and they left with the monies. St. Thomas Loan, I've come from a manufacturing. I have the manufacturing background. My plant closed after 17 and a half years. It was a little bit of a kick to the teeth, but we recovered. I came back. St. Thomas is on a slow recovery on it, but at that too, it's about getting in and talking to these manufacturers and seeing what it is that we need to do specifically with them to keep the jobs here and create more jobs. Thank you.
Michael Hopkins, please.
The CHP will stimulate the economy through the infrastructure package. This is where the Bank of Canada loans to municipalities and the provinces to build their roads, bridges, rail lines, water sewage plants, libraries, etc. This will create jobs. This was done after World War II. This construction activity began the longest lasting economic boom in Canadian history. The infrastructure remains after these loans have been repaid. Another of our ideas is to remove restrictions allowing trucking companies to freely travel between provinces. We also need to recognize the professional and trade qualifications throughout Canada, not just in each province. We need to remove restrictive free flow of labor opportunities between the provincial boundaries. Also, we will cut the corporate income tax to small, medium, and large corporations. Thank you.
Lori Baldwin-Sands, please.
Thank you. That is why I so believe strongly in the Liberal platform to introduce the historic investment in infrastructure. It's already been addressed that that is a great way to get people working, especially in the skilled trades, and creating a better quality of life for us all in the communities of Elgin-Middlesex-London. But it's also about bike trails and hike trails, affordable housing projects for seniors, for better investments in our libraries, in our art galleries, in our recreational areas. That is what the major investment with infrastructure will do. The historic infrastructure investment that the Liberal Party is proposing, and it is available to get out once we are elected as the federal Liberal Party. And once we form government, that can happen right in 2015. And that's why I embrace it as a great way to get jobs here and people back to work immediately. Thank you.
Bronagh Morgan, please.
Thank you. The question to create jobs, I think what we have to look at first is stop losing the jobs. I was at this meeting that the Farmers Union put on, and we were talking about free trade agreements. And what basically one of the stats that came out was that since like the NAFTA era, we've lost 500,000 jobs in Canada. And the solution to not keep on giving the jobs away is not to keep on signing more agreements, because this is where our employment is going. So I think right off the bat, what we need to do is start rethinking these international trade agreements, because they're not helping us in the long run. They're not we can't start creating jobs until we stop giving the jobs away.
Thank you. And last response to Karen Vecchio.
Thanks very much for the question, Jennifer. Here in Canada, we've created 1.3 net new jobs, or new net jobs here since 2008. Our unemployment rates are the same as they were prior to the recession in 2008. It is very important that the government's role is to create an environment so that businesses want to come to Canada and stay in Canada. It is important that we have reduced payroll taxes, reduced corporate taxes and small business taxes, and making sure that we have available training, making sure that the schools that we are working with have the correct education available for the skilled labor force. It's very important that we continue to work with all levels of government as well. Manufacturing, there's many different opportunities here, and I've seen businesses come and go out of St. Thomas, but more recently I have seen a lot of new businesses come to this area, and I'm very proud of the diversification that has occurred, whether it's down the road at Forest City Castings, or you can say the build-up format. They continue to employ new people each and every day, and I'm very proud of the recovery that we've done here in this area. So thank you very much for your question.
And Jennifer's next question.
Excellent. Okay. A little less of a predictable question, but certainly one that's relevant. You're all running for parties that align closely with your personal beliefs and convictions. So in that spirit of reflection, what is the weakest part of your party's platform?
I'll go to Lori Baldwin-Sands for the first response to this one.
Every day on the doorsteps of Elgin-Middlesex-London, I hear from the people of this community. And I take those messages back to our leader and to our party so that we can start to build the planks that are required. I believe that one of the things that really needs to happen is about youth and the importance of investing in youth, in not just in our community, but as Canada as a nation. And I believe that that's one thing that we can do very, very strongly, and the announcement just happened today. So I'm very proud to say that it was one of the things I've been waiting for and waiting to hear about, and very, very happy to hear that the announcement is happening today, that we are talking about youth investments and talking about underemployed youth, and we're talking about unemployed youth. And we need to have those strengths in our economy, because that is the strength of our economy 20 and 30 years from now, is the hope and the feeling for our youth. And that's what we need to have. And the Liberal Party will continue to deliver. Thank you.
Karen Vecchio, please.
Hi, thanks very much for the question, Jennifer. Truly, our platform is built on building a stronger Canada through our economy. When we have a strong economy, we can then embrace all the social programs that many people are also looking for. But we need to strike an equal balance. And without a strong economy, we would not be able to have those social programs. I am very pleased with what we have to offer. I know, like any government, we can do better. But once our economy is fully stabilized, you will be able to see more, and we will be able to do more for all of the constituents of Elgin-Middlesex-London and for all Canadians. Thank you.
Fred Sinclair, please.
Thank you, Jennifer. The weakest part of our platform, you're going to make me really think on this one. I guess it'd be the unavailability to be able to go out and fully represent 100% of Canadians. You know, it's one of those things, the Canadians will come to you, they'll tell you, or the voters will tell you what they want, but not all voters are going to be behind you. It's the aspect of being able to gain all the support of Canadians on this platform. It's, we are out there, we do represent everybody, but it's to get their confidence in us is where the weakest part, I believe, is to actually gain the confidence of all. It's that small part, because everybody's got that question in the back of their mind. Are they really going to do what they did? The past governments haven't. They've lied to us. They've done this. Is this government going to do it? Will the NDP lie to us as well? No, we're going to tell you straight up. We're straightforward. We're going to tell you what it is, and if it's not something you agree with, then let us know. It's not a problem of trying to fix something. It's about working with them. So upon that, it would be trying to grasp the aspect of grabbing every Canadian vote possible. Thank you.
And Michael Hopkins, please, next.
When voters think of the CHP party, they don't think of the environment. We're not known for that, although we have strong policies. This is an issue I feel strongly about. There's nothing I dislike more is bad stewardship towards our environment. I would like CHP to be known more for their environmental policies. Thanks.
And the last word on this one to Bronagh Margan.
Hello again. The weakest part of my copy of the party's platform is that it doesn't have the first 9 pages because they wouldn't print out for me. The weakest part of the platform generally is, well, I'm just going to give you a little history. We've been working very hard over the last, decade, I would say at least, in the Green Party to convince voters that we're not a single issue party, right? And I think that's important. And if you read the platform, you will see that we're not a single issue party. We have a position on everything, just like any of the major parties do. But I don't want us in the Green Party, and I don't want voters to forget that central to everything we do, and the most important issue to us, which will always be the most important issue to us, is the environment. That governs, that needs, our focus has to be dealing with climate change first. We should never take our focus away from that, and we never will. It's not something to apologize for because, we have issues about jobs, we have issues about immigration, but if we don't have our health, and that means our personal health, but the health of our city, the health of our air, the health of our water, the health of our planet, we don't have anything. So we can't shy away from the fact that we're the only party that puts that front and center.
All right.
Thank you, Jennifer. Time to go back to that morning voice from the radio, Andrew Buttigieg.
Good morning, I'm Andrew Buttigieg. I wanted to kind of get some of your past experiences and what would make you a great MP for our riding based on your past experiences. What is it that you have done in your life that people should know about that would make you a great MP?
Fred, I'm going to go to you first this time.
Past experiences. I grew up here in town. Father, mother, my sister. My parents separated when I was young. I got to see the bad side of the breakup, the good side of a breakup. I've seen the physical violence in a family. I grew up watching it as a kid. It's not a great sight. It kind of sticks with you. I'm 42 years old, and it still has that memory in the back of my mind. I see it every day. But it has made me that much better of a person. I looked at my dad and I said, thank you very much for showing me what not to do. It's not about what you get to see them to do. It's about what you see them teaching you what not to do. And I'm learning every day. I come up through a manufacturing sector. I come out of a Lear Corporation that was here for 17 and a half years. I held various positions within it, within my union. I was a local president, health and safety, recording secretary. I held it. Within that, as being the president and going out and listening to, I had 700 members at the time, going through all different aspects of the manufacturing and including healthcare and foods, and listening about what their problems were and understanding. It's about listening to understand. And I did that. I took their notes. I went in and fought for them. They had a concern. I went in and got them, helped them out. Let's go down. Let's go fight this out. But together, it was a together thing. We had to be together. My looked at it is, you have the issue. Let's sit down and figure out what the resolve is. Let's get a resolve that you're going to be happy with. It's about working with you. It's about having your voice and let me be it to push it off into Ottawa or to get it out there for you. It's not about just me, myself, and I. It's about everybody. It's about the riding, to be able to sit down with all the community, no matter what aspect of the community you come from. Let's fight this together, and it's about listening and doing as you ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen Vecchio, you're number 2 this time.
Thanks very much for the question, Andrew. I grew up on a livestock farm in Sparta, Ontario. That's where you learn that work is 365 days a year. My father worked. It didn't matter if it was Christmas. It didn't matter what day it was. You're out there working because the livestock needs you there. And that's just the way I grew up. You work hard, and you work all the time. I also was a small business owner. For a few years, I owned a restaurant over in London. It was a very successful restaurant, and I'm very proud of the information and knowledge that I gained from that, whether it was customer service, whether it was dealing with Revenue Canada or dealing with human resource issues. I dealt with all of those different things, and so I got a great sense of how to run a small business, and a very successful one at that, as I said. I guess the biggest part of my experience has been the 11 years that I've been in the Member of Parliament's office. I have worked with constituents' needs, whether it's dealing with Veterans Affairs, the environment, Transport Canada, a wide variety of things that many people think, you do that. My mom laughs because I still do about 200 tax returns a year for low-income seniors and low-income families, just because that's the things that our community needs. So I've learned a lot of things from that job as well. But finally, the biggest thing as well has been my family. Having 5 children and being a spouse with my husband, Mike, it's all about listening, it's all about compromise, and it's always about finding solution. And that is who I am, and that's the way I've been raised for my parents, and that's the way I act each and every day. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Karen. I'll turn to Bronagh Morgan next.
Okay, well, I think I have a couple of things. When I was a little kid, I used to do really well in school, and then I did a lot of sleeping in school, so then they decided like they would do some tests on me, and they found out that I am what you call gifted. So that means you have like a great big brain. So I don't think, like, a lot of times I don't think I perform that well in this kind of setting because, like, it takes me a long time to kind of articulate the stuff that's like way down there. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, and I don't think that should discourage people who are deep thinkers who aren't great at making like a quick soundbite point from getting into politics. I kind of think we need more deep thinkers in Ottawa. But also, I don't think that like the fact that I have a big brain is really all that important when, like, I think my best quality that I could bring is resilience. I think that, well, you might, if you've read a bio on me, you know that I'm a runner and I'm also a former boxer, and I'm a fighter. So when you get knocked down, you get back up again. So if you want a politician that would actually, you know, sometimes I'm not going to win everything, but I'm never going to give up. I'm an eternal optimist, but also I can take a punch and I can get back up again and, like Rocky said, keep on moving forward.
Michael Hopkins next, please.
I grew up in St. Thomas. I know what this area needs. I've also lived in different parts of this country, Vancouver and Victoria. So I've worked with different people of different economic backgrounds and of different cultural backgrounds. Presently, I'm a father of 3 small children. I coach all of their baseball teams. I work at skills development for all the kids on the team. At my workplace, when there's something wrong, I'm the one they come to get that fixed. I've taken on that leadership role. Thanks.
Thank you.
And the last word this time to Lori Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you so very much for the question. I spent 8 years on our local city council, 4 years as finance chair, bringing in 4 consecutive budgets right around the rate of inflation. 4 years prior to that, I was social services chair, concentrating on the needs and the wants of seniors, children, all of the social services network across Elgin County. I spent 35 years in business in this community, most recently as a property owner. Prior to that, the owner of the Sears dealership here in St. Thomas. Prior to that, the owner of Good Life Fitness for a number of years. And prior to that, the owner and operator of Baldwin backyard pool programs. I have 3 brave, beautiful daughters who are very successful, all have finished university, and they too have chosen to make St. Thomas their home, and they have chosen Elgin-Middlesex-London as their community. It is for them, for the seniors of this community, for my family, for better jobs, for a better community. That is why I'm running, because I know I have the skills to bring people together, to solve problems, create solutions in a timeline that is meaningful for the people of this community, so that we will have strong representation in Ottawa. And I will be Elgin-Middlesex voice in Ottawa for the Liberal Party of Canada. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew, another one from you, please.
Perfect. I'm struggling on where to go to next, and I have been, but I'd like to touch on what is a current topic right now around the world, and I guess you can say here as well, and that's refugees. It's a wide known topic right now on the headlines of the news, no matter where you go. We know what's happening overseas. And I'd like to know your stance on bringing in refugees to not only this country, but also our riding. And is it a thing that you would support, more refugees to Canada? Thank you.
First response on this one to Bronagh Morgan, please.
I was hoping so, because I think I got this one. Yes, I want more refugees here. This is a big country, and we have a lot to share, and that's what Canada is. Like, we're not the jerks in the world. This is the Canada that I remember from growing up in. If we have a lot, then we share, and if people have need, then we share. If there's a problem with people individuals in Canada who don't have enough, that's not a problem that gives us an excuse to help people who have less. We have a problem with wealth and asset distribution in Canada. There's too much at the top, there's not enough at the bottom. We need to redistribute things, and then we can go back to being the Canada that we are, that we should be, that does help people when they need it, because we can do it. We have the resources, we just have to spread them out.
Fred Sinclair.
It's a shame what's going on, what's happening overseas and over the country. Yes, I am in favor of refugees coming in. Our platform does show that we will be opening up to 10,000 first year, and then over the next few years, another 9,600 over and over. Upon that, Canada, peace-loving nation is what we once were. Under the Harper government, they put us in more wars than we need to be. They devastated where we're bringing the refugees in by dropping Canadian bombs on them. If Harper didn't send them over to start dropping bombs or to start shooting and having a war over there, it'd be a little more peaceful at the time. So upon that, refugees are welcome. It's a humanitarian thing to do. It's our love for others that needs to come into this and open up our arms, open up our houses, and welcome into the land. It's peace haven for them. They have to have a better start, and this is where it should start, in a peace-loving nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laurie Baldwin-Sands, please.
Thank you. I was brought up in a household where we were taught that when you have more than enough, you build a longer table, not a bigger fence. Currently, we are ranked 41st in the world by the United Nations High Commission on Refugees. The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to bringing 25,000 Syrian refugees. And yes, I do embrace coming to Elgin-Middlesex-London. I received a beautiful letter from a refugee, and he has been in this country for a number of years. He is currently retired. His family came over with Russian refugees. He is now a notable doctor, and he travels the world about refugees, and he has been since the 1980s paying it back to this community and sponsoring refugees in his home. I've always believed that we have a big heart as well as a big country, and I believe very strongly that we should answer the call. This is a humanitarian call out, not so much about the numbers, but we need to do our part in the world and open our arms to this incredibly tragic situation that is happening. Thank you so very much.
Michael, what's CHP's position?
CHP affirms that correction of the domestic policies of many governments around the world is the only ultimate solution to the refugee problem. Canada should act with compassion towards genuine refugees and show the world that maximum justice, peace, and personal freedom exist when governments adhere to Canadian principles. Canada's refugee policy must not be abused to shelter criminals, terrorists, or others who pose a danger to Canada. Such persons should be deported regardless of their conditions of their homeland. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last word this time to Karen Vecchio.
Thanks very much for the question, Andrew. Prior to December 2014, our government has assisted 24,000 Iraqi refugees due to this crisis. These are great numbers, and I just think we do need to see that, because we're saying that we're not doing anything. We are doing things. It is very, very important that we find a balance. We need to defeat ISIS so that we can bring back, we can have the war stopped, but we can also have the humanitarian aid met. We here in Canada are doing a great job. Even here locally, we have already had churches contact the MP's office and looking to see how they can work with them. I, dealing with the citizenship and immigration files in our office, have worked on refugee files in the last 11 years where we have brought refugees from all over this country. Canada stands with many other countries in the coalition against ISIS, including Australia, the United States, and the United Kingdom. And it's very, very important that we get a balance here and defeat ISIS as well as bring humanitarian aid to them.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly. We're getting to a point in time where time is crunching down. I'm going to give Jennifer a chance to come back to the mic, but I'm going to give you a warning that we've got about 3 minutes left. If you got a quick one in the bag that we could throw at everybody, and candidates knowing that we're inside that tight window.
All right, sounds good. Governance and transparency, big issue, of course, with the Senate. I won't get into that one just quite yet with time constraints. Every year, Ontario publishes the names and salaries of its best paid and public sector employees, the much awaited Sunshine List. Do you support federal public sector salary disclosure?
Okay, Karen Vecchio first up. I'll ask you to keep your responses to 30 seconds on this one.
When we speak of transparency, our government already puts out what we are spending here in the government. You can find out a member of parliament's what they are making. You can find out how much the Prime Minister makes. You can find out all of those sort of things. I do, when you're a public service worker, when it comes to being a politician, I think it's very important that you are transparent on how much money is being made. Thank you.
Lori Baldwin-Sands, please.
Thank you. As a member of City Council, that was one of the things that I made sure that we had a level of transparency and accountability for all of the things that we were doing at City Hall, and increased a higher level of transparency and accountability. Justin Trudeau, as the federal Liberal leader, also did the same, setting the way for openness and transparency in regards to MP salaries and expenses, and he did so prior to becoming the national transition, which is now what all of them do, which is now policy. And he was out first, and that is one of the reasons that I choose to follow a great leader, Justin Trudeau. Thank you.
Fred Sinclair, please.
Thank you. Yes, 100% support it. It's your tax dollars that are going into the use of everything, and I believe that you should have full transparency to see exactly for every penny spent as where it goes, not just in salaries, but everything else. So yes, I fully support it.
Bronagh Morgan.
Yes, I fully support it. If my speech goes long at the end, then maybe you could give me some leeway.
Last response to Michael Hopkins, please.
I support transparency in government. If one is paid through the taxpayer, then it is the most appropriate way to keep people of public office honest. This should also not be limited to their salaries, but budgets within their departments. I agree with your question. Thanks.
Thank you kindly. It is time for us to actually approach the wrap-up to our program and move to the closing remarks segment. As mentioned earlier, the order of speaking for this session is predetermined by random draw. In the draw, we determined that Fred Sinclair is first to offer closing remarks. Fred, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you once again, and thank you for the time and the questions. It was great, some great, excellent questions. As your MP, once you elect me October 19th, my voice will only get stronger with you behind me. With your support, we can make this riding an orange riding. We can get Canada back on track. We can get this riding and the areas back into a prosperous, economic, efficient area. I, Fred Sinclair, will tell you straight up, I will not beat around the bush. If you have a question, ask it. I'll go right to the point. If I don't know the answer, I will tell it to you. I'm not going to beat around and just kind of dodge your questions. I challenge every naysayer out there about any parliament that's going on to say, vote for me. Let me put the faith back into you to show you that I can represent you fairly. Fred Sinclair, October 19th, NDP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fred. Next in our closing remarks sequence is Michael Hopkins, representing CHP.
On October 19th, consider what you want for our electoral district and our country. Other parties have their policies that they believe to be good and righteous for us, but they are just the same policies they have always offered, and these policies don't seem to be working today. The Christian Heritage Party's policies offer better solutions to our troubles. What makes our policies better is that they are written to build up all Canadians, not just the demographic groups that get us elected. On October 19th, consider voting for the Christian Heritage Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Third on the closing remarks list, we turn to Lori Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. Thank you to the organizers, to the panel, and for my fellow candidates behind me for their time today. We have heard that the Conservatives feel our economy is on the right track and we should stick to their plan. They have run 8 straight deficits and added over $150 billion to the national debt. We are in the second Harper recession. Elgin-Middlesex-London has not recovered from the first recession. I understand that the residents of Elgin-Middlesex-London are frustrated and do not want 4 more years of the same. Team Trudeau has a plan that will drive job growth and infrastructure improvements. We also have a plan for our environment, our veterans, and so much more. I invite you to view the full plan at loribaldwinsands.ca. Be part of our plan for real change. Vote Lori Baldwin-Sands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lori. Next to deliver closing remarks, Bronagh Morgan.
Before I start, I just want to say this is the friendliest debate I've ever been to. I love Elgin-Middlesex-London debates. Thank you, everybody. You guys are so nice. Okay, now I'm going to move on. I'm going to go fast. I just want to talk to the voters that are watching tonight. I think I know you, and I believe that you are greener than you think you are. I sincerely believe that the values that I've been trying to get across today, the values that I share with the Green Party, the values that I share with Greens around the world, I sincerely believe that in your heart, those are your values too. So in this election, I'm going to ask you to be brave and vote your heart this time. And also, make a strategic vote, because voting for the Green Party is a strategic vote. It's a long-term strategy. My name is Bronagh Morgan. I'm Green Party bro. Send me to Ottawa. I want to go and work for you.
Thank you, Bronagh. And last on our list to engage us with closing remarks from the Conservative Party is Karen Vecchio.
Hi, I was told I had energy. Thanks, Bronagh. Anyway, thank you to Rogers TV for hosting this event, and thank you to the viewers for participating in democracy. This election is about the economy and selecting a leader nationally and here at home. I have a proven track record of working with others and getting things done. I have worked with all levels of government and local community groups to bring opportunities to our area. Nationally, we have the strong, proven leadership of Prime Minister Harper with a low tax plan to support families, seniors, and businesses. Our Prime Minister has demonstrated leadership by showing Canada's humanitarian support around the world while protecting the security of Canadians. On the other hand, we have opposition leaders who have demonstrated the inability to lead on the world stage. Their reckless, high tax, high debt plans that will hurt our economy, kill jobs, and leave you with less money in your pockets. The stakes are high. On October 19th, you have a choice. Vote Vecchio.
Thank you very much. And thank you for incredible sense of timing. It's always a mystery when one produces a show like this to say you've got 60 minutes to have multiple people asking questions, multiple answers that you cannot gauge and have no way of knowing what they're going to be, and somehow it miraculously comes right to time. And we are right on time as we go. On behalf of everyone that's been involved in the production of this show, I want to extend a very sincere thank you to the 5 candidates. If you're like me at home and you've watched this for the last 60 minutes, I'm sure you're walking away thinking, I know more than I did 60 minutes ago. I thought I know most of the people that's here, and I've learned things about each one of you that I did not know before, and that's certainly an appreciated fact. On behalf of the St. Thomas and District Chamber of Commerce, I thank Rogers for partnering with us to make this show possible. This is the first time in 5 elections when we go to cast ballots on October 19th that we will elect a face that has never represented us. It will be one of the 5 people that you have met here during the program today. I thank you for participating. I encourage each and every one of you to exercise your right, because if you don't participate, well, it's hard to have a say when you get angry. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Bob Hammersley on behalf of the St. Thomas and District Chamber of Commerce and Rogers TV. Thanks for joining us.